Yes, Harminder, we're here. Sociological research plan.
Yeah, hello Mariel, how are you doing?
Glad to be at this point of the work, actually.
It was very stressful week, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is our group, Harminder, Mariel, and we have a third part of our group, which had intellectual disagreements with us. And so she preferred to use her information. And we totally support her in her endeavors, Manpreet. Um, let's see, what are we looking for in our research, Harminder?
So the research question that we are going with is what were the role of two armies, US and Canada, and how their tactics for taking over Afghanistan were different, and how did they did they make changes if we compare them. So yeah, that was our we are going to analyze the different tactics and strategies that they have for establishing the democracy and giving no, human rights to the people of Afghanistan, and differentiating the their tactics and comparing the results they got from them. And we will figure out whose was the best, and how they who can get their goals straight, and
Yeah,
yeah,
who actually managed to do their objectives
yeah,
correctly,
who
right?
can acquire their goals.
Exactly. Our research question is between the military approaches of the USA Army and the Canadian Army from 2001 to 2014, which one proved more effective for long-term Afghani security? So with this question, what is the problem that we're trying to understand, Harminder?
The problem is they really don't understand the Afghanis people, and this research is important because many human resources, many soldiers given their blood and sweat to the do that goal that they have for the Afghanistan. But it snapped back zero when in later presses, when US snatched and hold back from the Afghanistan. It all goes to waste, and that is what we are going to discuss in this research.
Exactly, I have to agree. Uh, what what are the objectives and are they being met? This is research is very important and it's transcendental. If we were in working in government
Yeah,
and we needed to test why these public policies or why we need a budget of $30 trillion
yeah,
to go to war, you
you
need
know
to
alone Canada invested 32 billion, something in this project in Afghanistan for changing the circumstances there and providing people with good life. But
that's one
yeah,
member of NATO. I
yeah,
mean,
that was one member, and the list goes on. Everyone put their resources and investments, but we want to see such the result what they have got so far. That's why we think this research is important.
absolutely. Uh, in our literature review, well, we obviously start with 911 and how George Bush declared the war against terror, right? He
Mhm.
announces it. He gets together with his allies with NATO, and they all say, yes, let's go to Afghanistan, let's conquer Al Qaeda.
Yeah, and acquire back the acquire back the power in Afghanistan and make them. But he announces after everyone know about 9/11. Four private jets, commercial planes, two or three targets, two in the Pelagon. What was that? The uh, two targets, the Times Square building, and then the fields in Pennsylvania. Everyone knows about that. But after that, George Washington Bush, that time former president of US, believes that they need to um, have war on terror. So they have allies formed, and everyone supported them because it was hard on humanity. That seems like right decision that time, but after time we think that it was not that good. It was in this making process of the research plan, we find out that it was the best military operation, most successful military operation, you know
But successful for the contractors, right?
yeah,
Not for the
for
people.
yeah, not for the people. Everyone knows that whenever this was or that this attacks take places, benefits the richest to get more rich. Like arm dealers get more business to do. But who have the common people have to suffer. Common people like us, soldiers have to suffer.
Yeah.
No one cares about that. No one's give show mercy on them. That was the whole point for me for being in this project.
I think it's very important to mention also the role of the media in all
Yeah,
this narrative, right? Because without the role of the media manipulating and putting um, this message through of war on terror, um, maybe it wouldn't have seemed so compelling to go and invade Afghanistan for everyone, because everyone just suddenly, it was the thing to do, and United States led this, and it was impressive. Everyone, well, I mean, of course, people that are against war will always be against war, but
yeah,
but the world in general seemed to believe that it was all right to look for Osama bin Laden, to try to change Afghanistan, and it wouldn't have been done without the media.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, with this research, we're trying to bring forward some key debates. The important thing we are debating is whether any of their intervention, especially the US led and the Canadian led, had brought Afghani's democracy, security, or stability, which right now we don't think so. But if we do a wider perspective, we might find out that some things could have functioned. That is what I'm hoping that the research will throw,
Yeah.
because I don't wish that everything was for nothing, all that time, all that money, all that sacrifice. And while we were doing our literature review, we we figured out that there wasn't a comprehensive analysis of the situation in Afghanistan. And as we have told before, the media has put forward this narrative, and there are not many first-hand accounts. And we researched together, well, for our literature review, uh, we started watching a documentary that we want to use as
Yeah.
a first hand account. And it's one of the reasons why we decided to use other primary resources than what the research was usually and firstly confined to, but because we can find very good information that will be similar to an interview, like a documentary. Um, so in this documentary, we can see on ground what is happening with the locals, right? It's this Canadian soldier that is in a peacekeeping mission, and he's telling all that's happening in Afghanistan and how they're trying to provide security and how the locals react.
Yeah.
But there's no comprehensive one. So our hypothesis, I don't know if, do you want to go forward with our weird hypothesis? Well, it's not weird. It's just, we know.
It's a very some grays in it, gray zones in it.
It's an educated guess, let's say.
Yeah, educated.
So our approach is because the US military and the Canadian military have different approaches. One consists on provoking violent regime changes with war efforts. Another, the Canadian military, is looking more for peacekeeping, reconstruction, and providing security for the locals.
Yeah.
So our hypothesis is that although peacekeeping might sound like it was the best for keeping security, it might not have been. And the war efforts might not have been either. So we're saying that neither of them were
Yeah, neither one of them are
sufficient.
working for long-term result. Neither one of them given long-term result.
Our hypothesis also includes saying that Canada lost in its objectives, US and its NATO allies lost in their objectives in Afghanistan. As for our research design and the methods that we use, we have mentioned that our objectives are analyzing different perspectives of the military interventions, bring out the mistakes that they both made, fight against no, we don't fight against terrorist groups. They made the mistakes while fighting against terrorist groups.
Yeah.
And most importantly, we want to find out which methods were more efficient, even so we could replicate them. That's what we want. We want to find objective, replicable tactics to provide security for long term. Our methods and resources would be, we're gonna do a broad case study. So we're gonna include primary and secondary data. We have decided to include secondary data because, as we have shared before, we found first-hand accounts, and they are very valuable, and it's not something that we're going to find through interviews that have been done after the war and after the occupation and after the disoccupation. So as primary data, we're going to do interviews.
Yeah, we want to interview like 100 people from the from both the victim side and from the Canadian military officials and US military officials as well. So we are looking like for 1 to 2 months, as it is very impossible to get appointments because everyone have works to do, everything have jobs to keep. And yeah, so and also keeping COVID in mind, we can't arrange the appointments that easy, like 2019.
Of course, and that's part of our practicalities and obstacles, which we hadn't wrote about COVID, but I think it's a very good one. We
Yeah.
did write about travel bans. So one of our obstacles is that we cannot obviously go to Afghanistan right now and
Yeah.
conduct interviews
It's
in the
very
field.
unsafe and very to go there right now. So, but yeah, we will. I will not. I'm not taking this at for team, but I definitely will want to go there and see what is the life at ground zero. I
I
don't
mean,
know,
I'm
but
sure it's not
you are
pretty.
more than welcome to join me. I will like your company.
Okay, maybe on a humanitarian mission we can talk about it that way.
Implication and contribution to knowledge.
Yes. So what do we want to contribute with our research? As we have said, we're very passionate about finding security for Afghans, and we want to uh, do a comprehensive analysis of the approaches that the different approaches that have been made and why they failed, how they failed, what can be rescued, what did survive, um, so it can be replicated and it can be brought forward in other situations like this. This is our reference list, and you will see it has, I was deeply involved in war in Afghanistan from Time Magazine, which is a first-hand account. Our book from Sociology, we use chapter 2 and chapter 17. War and Peace, Canada, Afghanistan Fall documentary. This is an independent documentary made by a Canadian soldier. And this is our favorite research, Harminder, and I really like this one.
Yeah, this one was great.
Yeah, and then uh, just a couple of comprehensive stories or depictions of what is happening in Afghanistan from Vice News and Vox. Those are our resources, our secondary resources. However, our research schedule is for our primary resources. And as you see in this table, do you want to explain the table?
Yeah, sure. Research phase and we are preparing for the interview and the literature search for 20 in February 22. Yeah, recruit interviews. So we are going to find the persons that will be really beneficial for us for our research purpose, and who really know what was it like to be on the field while this given time period. Then we are going to schedule interviews as per their schedule, how they want, how when they will like to meet us. So we are thinking about from April 20 in April 2022, we will have 2 hours of interviews. If it is interesting, if a person can offer us more, we can have him with three interviews, not and then we will uh, analyze what we from our findings, what we found, and review the interviews, take the notes we have taken while interviewing them. We, yeah, in May 22, correlate the interviews with official data. We will relate if the person which we interviewed was really telling us the regional facts, and yeah, then we will write our research by the end of September 2022 on the basis of from all these series of interviews.
So 1 year to
Yeah, 1 year, 1 year.
to open Pandora's box. But I would like to add, uh, like I was thinking how we might recruit interviewees. And I think we can get some data from veteran
Yeah,
groups, maybe groups on
veteran groups
Facebook.
and from veteran groups from the victims who had personal experience.
Yeah,
As
maybe meeting refugees,
yeah,
or seeing if we
meeting
can
refugees.
talk
Yeah,
to someone.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be awesome actually.
yeah,
Now I hope the Pentagon hires us to do this research.
yeah, definitely.
Well, that was all
Yeah,
from
that
us.
was our research paper.
Well, I'll stop recording now. Thank you, Professor, for a great class, actually.
Yeah, it was really good being in your class.
Yeah. Hope to meet you in person. You too, Harminder, but I'm talking to the professor, which is it's weird now.
No.
Okay, I'll stop recording.